the highest possible definition.
I want all of the lines of resolution of Tony Hawk that I can have.
All right, well, this is going to give you, let's say, 720 of them right here, right now. That's what we're set to.
Okay. Well, there's.
I mean, we could upscale it to a 1080.
I want to say that there's been Tony Hawk in HD before this.
Shh. But has there been Tony Hawk's Pro Skater?
There has not. There has
this?
not. You're right about that. So they're bringing back the old.
Yeah. So this is a remake of a reimagining, a
revisioning.
They have taken old levels from Tony Hawk and put them into a new game.
What games are they pulling from for this, Jeff?
1 and 2.
1 and 2 exclusively?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not the full roster of 1 and 2. How about I play the game?
Well, let's first look at our skaters.
So they made some changes. Like I said, this is kind of a new game with old stuff in it. So they've added new different skaters here. Riley Hawk.
What? I know some of these old dudes.
Yeah.
Eric Costin.
She should probably toss on a few more names.
I have to imagine that's Travis Pastrana's kid or relation.
I want to say wife.
Wife? Okay, sure.
I don't know.
I believe that. Rodney Mullen, still kicking it. Tony Hawk.
Tony Hawk.
He's like 100.
Check here.
Oh, and you can play as your.
Also, I've signed a licensing deal with RoboCop.
I didn't know Team RoboCop had an opening.
Yeah, I got sponsored by Team RoboCop, and we do a lot of sessions. Not in Detroit because it's kind of on fire all the time. We do it to raise awareness about old Detroit.
Yeah,
and kind of what they're going through.
Is this as far as you know the full roster here? I see.
You can unlock Officer Dick. And
okay.
Things along those lines.
Got it.
This is the full default roster.
What's up with the? I notice as you scroll through these different characters, I see the career cache and the special slots are changing.
No, that's because I've played a little bit as my avatar and earned some cash, and then I've also only played as Eric Costin.
I mean, I figured that part out. I'm just wondering what the special slots thing is about.
You can have up to 5 special tricks assigned in the skate shop, so that's just how many I have right now. Got this front flip, got Christ Air.
So we've got levels. Let's pick a skater then. Let's
all right,
and let's see what our level selection options look like here.
I have maxed out his stats, so because I've played it for him.
You'll be the most buck wild. Warehouse, the classic ass. School 2. Maybe one of the best Tony Hawk levels ever.
The Hangar.
The Hangar.
The Mall.
Oh wait, isn't that a downhill jam level?
Yep. Venice Beach.
Does it remain as a downhill jam level in this?
So at some point when they started re-releasing old Tony Hawk levels in newer games, they made it so if you hit the end of the level, it just teleported you back to the top and let you go for the full 2 minutes. So
it's no
this
longer
does that.
So it's a jam level, but it's not a jam event?
No, there are no medal events in this game. And in fact, this was not a medal event level. Like the downhill levels were still 2-minute normal levels.
Right.
Downhill jam, still a 2-minute normal level.
Okay.
This one, I believe,
Marseilles,
was a proper like earn medals level to complete level. And that's it as far as I can tell, unless I've not gotten every goal, so it's possible that there could be another level open up here. But I got to say, I am not thrilled with the list of levels in this game.
I think
the Hangar is a bad level.
It's memorable.
I think
it's not
Downhill
one of my
Jam
favorites.
is a bad level.
And
apparently this was Tony Hawk's specific request, wanted this in here.
Yeah, the downhill levels he was way into.
Marseilles
Marseilles is a great level. Warehouse is a great level. School 2 is a great level. Hangar maybe I don't have the attachment to.
I mean, you don't because it's barely a level.
Venice is Venice in here?
And I played so much Tony Hawk 2X that I view Hangar as just like a thing you can get to from Warehouse. I think is how they did it there. Maybe I can just be crazy. You can manual.
So, I didn't play it. Okay, so we got manuals in here, but no reverts. Which I thought they were talking about that they were gonna...
So they're talking about doing DLC for Tony Hawk 3 levels, and then at that point,
they would introduce...
you could theoretically... So I can revert right there. You know, it's kind of... The animation is there,
you could do
but for
reverts.
scoring purposes, it doesn't actually do anything for you.
So you could do a revert into a manual, but it still is killing your combos.
Right. So the difference would be like, you know, if they put out Tony Hawk 3 DLC at that point, they would probably... you know, turn that on.
I mean, I'm going to say it's fair that it would completely change the dynamic of these 1 and 2 levels if you were chaining everything as far as what the score potential is on these, but it's still without the things that Tony Hawk 3 brought to the experience. I feel like it's missing, it's lacking.
Yeah. Tony Hawk 3 kind of completed the combo system as far as I'm concerned. They, you know, I think they wanted to kind of take it back, kind of unring the bell on some of the ridiculous combo stuff that happened after reverts were added.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean,
I guess that's you know, I see why they would do that. Because it just got weird.
The whole,
you know,
the whole
like
combo system.
It just created a larger skill gap, really, where you know all the best players were just.
But it's kind of the direction that this combo system, the way that this game is structured from Tony Hawk 1, like it's the organic, natural development for this stuff.
Right.
Like if they want to roll back, then it's like, okay, so what is the new future for Tony Hawk if there is one?
Well, that's Tony Hawk Ride.
Well, of course. So you mean Tony Hawk Shred?
I do.
Wildly popular follow-up to Tony Hawk Ride?
Yep, that's what I meant. So you see them up there, it'll show leaderboard positions. That's not just friends list, that's overall leaderboard, but it only shows that after you've completed every single goal in a level. So up there it'll normally say like, oh, you know, you've got 3 of the 4 things you need to grind or something like that.
So it's just sort of the, okay, you did the built-in stuff, so now we have this.
Now that here's this.
Lengthening the tail on continuing to play this game.
Which is cool. I just wish that you could kind of see that right off the bat.
School 2 is pretty dope.
Yeah, and it's, you know, this controls really similarly. I still occasionally screw up when trying to wall ride the bells.
How so?
Like, I don't know, I'm just like coming at the...
It was always like
the same stupid crap that I did in original Tony Hawk and got really pissed off about. Like, it still happens here. So you know,
accurate.
It's accurate in that I occasionally do really stupid. You can't flatten out.
Yeah.
I still instinctively like pull the triggers, go like, oh god, bail out of that and land it.
Nope.
You cannot do that.
No dice.
Yeah, that is a newer Tony Hawk thing.
For me, it was always the angle of attack on the wall ride. Like if you're not just so,
you're
like
not just so, you'd screw it up. That was definitely. I wasn't even trying to.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
Is the golf cart come and chase you here?
Yep. It doesn't really chase you. It just kind of runs its track.
Rather, it does its.
Like that one there, wall riding that bell.
Yeah.
Harder than it should be.
I think you're just hitting the wall ride too early. I don't think that wall ride carries around the corner.
Yeah.
There he is. This is Tony Hawk.
Yep.
As far as you can recall here, have they done anything to just, I guess, the score structure or anything? Like the challenges you have in here, it's your ringing bells, your...
Yeah, I mean, you know, they've added goals to some levels.
Okay.
So kind of new collection goals, or like do a special trick over this. But you know, like TC's roof gap, still right there.
Yep.
And that's still a goal, to kickflip that gap. So, and that's painfully simple. With the years of Tony Hawk that I think this game's primary audience well played, but it's awesome that it's still there. It's like, that's what you want, right?
What you guys say you want, come on.
But I think there is another level, there may be another level of goals here that I haven't unlocked yet. Because the achievements talk about completing projectives. So I'm wondering if, like, when I complete the last set of goals, if there will be some other thing to do here.
So what haven't you done yet? What do we need to...
I don't think I've gotten the sick score in Downhill Jam, and then I've got a handful of goals in Marseille left here.
Oh, let's go to Marseille. That's a good...
I was just going to run through them all.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Real quick here. And
I mean, it's 2 minutes, so whatever.
Yeah.
Make it happen.
It does have their attempt at a quick restart, where you can hit the back button and hit the button.
But I also noticed that when you bail, it does like the white flash thing rather than.
That's, I think. Well, let me try and bail here on purpose and see what it does. Okay, yeah, it does. Because you can actually, I mean, you can hit A to kind of make that happen a little quicker. But yeah. That's bad.
Oh, that's not gonna. Oh my God! You landed that
in a grind. Yeah. So I still
grind the
helicopter and make it fly away. But I guess this level, had its kind of interactive things in it like this.
This was kind of the start of that stuff, right? Tony Hawk 1 didn't really have a ton of those sort of set piece things.
And then
I did not play as much Tony Hawk 2 as I played of Tony Hawk 1.
No kidding.
Yeah. 1 and 3. 2 is definitely my.
Yeah, I think 2 is an outstanding game.
Yeah, I don't disagree. It was for whatever reason I
think the other problem I run into in Tony Hawk is when I pump up a skater's stats all the way, I just find myself missing all the short jumps. Like it's hard to.
Oh right.
Like I'm just trying to grind that propeller, but I just need to slow the hell down. There.
Like Tony Hawk 1 was a game that I completely maxed out with every skater.
Right.
That was an unreasonable amount of time spent with that game.
Why the timer's gone? Did I start it in free skate mode or something? So by grinding the helicopter, we've opened up this area.
Yep. Out of doors here.
They've integrated these sloppy and perfect systems.
Oh, okay, yeah.
From the later games.
Yep. So, but when they do stuff like that, it's odd because of the way they're sort of cherry picking some of these.
Yeah.
Like later game developments and then choosing to ignore other ones.
Yeah, like no spine transfers, no. Which I'm fine with that. I think they could have stopped at the revert. And that would have been totally okay.
I think the spine transfers. There's definitely some. Ugh.
Sometimes the physics on that stuff just goes nuts, and you go flying in the air. It's weird.
I don't think you were playing in the right mode there.
Yeah, well, let's see. Yeah, free skate or whatever. But
let's move on, I guess.
Yeah. So yeah, you've got career single session, which is single 2 minutes. Free skate.
Hawkman.
Yeah, Hawkman. It puts dots around the level that you have to pick up.
Okay.
And the idea is that you could, I guess maybe theoretically just combo your way through the entire line.
Okay.
And you have to be tricking to pick up some of the dots. There'll be different colors and stuff like that. This is Unreal Engine, so it's this level mostly, but you'll see some of that texture.
Yeah, I noticed that when you first loaded up the warehouse level before we started recording.
Yeah.
Same problem.
Also, the game boxes challenge has changed in this one to being kind of just floating game boxes that are around. You don't crash through. I mean, there are still those boxes at the end you can crash through, but it's not. It ain't the same.
Are you still collecting VHS tapes?
Nope, DVDs.
What?
I know. As if those are any less.
Oh yeah, that's not anachronistic at all. Now we're collecting
YouTube URLs. Yeah.
That's if you want to keep it modern, Activision.
That's where the skate videos are.
You gotta skip a whole generation of media.
Ugh. Still gotta crash through this stuff, but then come to the end here. These are not boxes for Apocalypse.
Oh yeah.
Boo!
You still own that, Activision. You could do that if you want.
So this is so it does that. You get to the end.
Well,
which is how they handled this problem in other remakes of these levels.
That was like kind of the challenge of this level. It was like, all right, can you, as you go down this path that's kind of this, this one-way thing, I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying it was the best idea for these levels, but
Yeah.
It was the thing about these levels.
Yeah.
And it's interesting seeing because like unlike a lot of other games, or most other games, at least to the same degree, the nature of the geometry in these levels is so key to the whole experience. Right? So when you're looking at these levels that were originally designed for the PlayStation 1, and I think this level is actually one of the better examples of that, of just how like chunky and big and just flat surfaces look.
That looks kind of weird.
It looks really weird.
Especially when you take like, now there's this like pretty good looking polygonal skater and
but you can't mess with.
That.
But you have to like have these edges.
Like the size is the size. The distance. They can't mess with the scale of it or anything. It's it is a little weird. But I think that's what you kind of have to go in expecting it would probably be that way. Sure. Considering the nature of this game.
I wouldn't want them to further modify it. If the promise of the product is, hey, we've taken some of your favorite things from the old Tony Hawk games and we put it in a fancier package that's easier to get to on your current consoles.
Yeah, and added, online multiplayer and stuff that
Tony Hawk 1 or 2 did not have. Although, yeah, gosh, there's still just a lot of Tony Hawk 1 and 2 levels that are not in here that I would love to see in here.
Yep. There's no, like, mid-grind transfers, like that kind of later Tony Hawk thing of, like, get on the rail and just start mashing the buttons to change. You can't do that.
Yeah. Which I don't know that I missed. Like, that was great for, like, racking up your scores and doing just a ton
but it wasn't
tricks.
necessarily,
It was just sort of like, okay, having to jump in between each one. It's crazy. I can just feel my muscle memory coming back just watching.
Yeah, a lot of it kind of came right back. Like I said, with a lot of the bad habits that I had.
Still intact.
Oh.
Yep. Eat it.
And yeah, you got to make all the Venice Beach transfers and all that sort of stuff. There's your VB stuff.
So we noted this about the skaters. There's
too far.
Yeah, it's a little hot there. They've mixed in some new pro skaters along with a few of the classics, and they've done a similar thing with the soundtrack.
Yeah.
So there's some of the soundtrack is straight up Tony Hawk 1 and 2, and some of it's just new shit.
Yep. Yeah. No guerrilla radio. The Public Enemy Anthrax song is in here.
Okay.
Superman is in here.
Yeah. A police truck? Is police truck in here?
No, I don't think so. I'm not loving the soundtrack in this game. And
do you think is it that you don't like the new stuff, or do you not feel like they picked the best of the old stuff?
I guess I just never really held any of those individual songs in high regard. It was always just, the soundtracks of those games always worked as a cohesive unit to me. So, them saying like, hey, we put Superman in it. Like, okay, sure, fine, whatever. Like, also, it doesn't seem like there are a ton of songs in it. So, in kind of playing it exhaustively over the course of a couple of days, I feel like I heard too much of the same songs over and over again. So this one, the goals are stuff like you have to hit those valves to open up all that water that's spouting out. But then there's another goal that is do a manual through the puddles. So you have to do that first, and then once you do it first on all subsequent runs, it's always just gushing. And then go back and do that through all those puddles.
All right.
What? Why didn't it warp me back? Just because I was mid-trick through it? Yeah, I guess.
Yep.
That's a That's unfortunate.
That's a bug.
Yeah.
That's just a bug.
I mean, that should just count as like you landed the combo.
Yeah.
Or better yet, if I manual through it, it should just start me out manually at the top and let me full combo multiple times.
That would be a way better bug. Colored lighting.
Quake 2 of skateboarding games.
This is a weird thing, Jeff.
Yeah, really.
It's
really
a really
is.
weird thing. Like, in all of the different ways that it's weirdly anachronistic.
Yeah.
Of the stuff with the soundtrack and the technology and just kind of design ethics stuff.
I have trouble getting this like there it is. Trouble getting that front flip out reliably. I will say that if you have the transforming D-pad on a 360,
Yeah.
preferable to the default D-pad on 360, which is kind of an hassle.
Like they added ragdoll, but not very good ragdoll.
Yeah, yeah.
And like that colored lighting in that level, that just, you're right, it looked like some fucking Quake 2 shit right there.
So you see, I've got a fair amount of things left to do here.
Yeah. Let's see what we can knock out here. In Marseille. What do they ask for this? 15?
Yes. Yeah, this is 15. It's the first in the Summer of Arcade,
Yes.
where everything is 15 except for Rick 2.
Well, that's the only reason.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's...
I think I gotta grind those speakers to destroy them. Right?
Yes.
But this was, I mean, this was a level with medals before, right? Wasn't it? I'm not making that up. So it wouldn't have had goals.
No, this had... No. This had letters and stuff in it.
I think you might be thinking of a remake of this level that appeared somewhere else, though. I wonder. Maybe. Right?
No. Because I remember... No. No, I don't think this was a medals level.
Okay. Yeah, because I remember having to grind those tables and stuff.
Yeah. There's definitely...
Which is still in there.
Yeah, I remember a few specific gaps and stuff that you had to hit. So, like, is one of them like grind all of the dumpsters,
I don't think it is.
or is it the?
So you can
tables?
actually go in here. Yeah, it's the tables. You have to like nose blunt slide the tables. So we can go in and hit map view, and it'll show you where stuff is. It doesn't show you. I don't think it shows you where you are. But if you're looking for that last piece of cash, you can get a basic idea of where the hell it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's also a gap list, and that actually just you can go around and see where the
Oh,
gaps
wow,
are,
look at that.
which is pretty cool. Kind of handy if you want to.
Taking a little bit of the guesswork out of that one.
Yeah, yeah. There's Hawkman where you collect a bunch of dots, and then there's Big Head Survival where your head is constantly inflating, and when you land combos, your head deflates based on the strength of the number of points in your combo. And the idea is to not have your head blow up and go for as long as you can, or go for a set amount of time, and then there's more cash associated with that, which you can use in addition to buying all your stat points and stuff. You also buy trick slots or tricks, not trick slots, to kind of customize what moves you got.
Are there any like skater skins? Any different looks for these skaters?
It looks like it, but I assume
seen
that's
those yet?
something that
Okay.
unlocks, because when we go out to Skater Select here, it does say Style 1. I just can't select it.
Oh, okay.
So I assume that there is at least a Style 2 for everyone. No Create a Skater, which,
Yeah,
fine.
that's
whatever.
okay. It would be awesome if one of the
No Bam
styles-
Margera. You know?
That was a later edition.
Yeah, I know. But you know, if they're playing with the roster, but whatever. I
Right.
mean, that's not hanging the game, but you know,
It doesn't have Bam Margera. It's
I know.
a piece of shit.
What a bunch of garbage. But though I do like his special, the Jackass, where you hit yourself in the face of the board. I always put that on every skater I could.
But that was 3, right?
Yeah, that's 3. So you know, who knows what they do with
It
DLC.
would be awesome.
The boards do not confer stats. In Tony Hawk 1,
Oh,
the
that's
different
right.
boards had stat things with you, so that's totally fine.
And I could also play as 80s Tony Hawk.
I think that's in here still.
It would be really awesome if they had like low res,
Maybe 80s Tony Hawk is low res.
like made them look like the PS1 models.
That would be kind of cool.
So one of the things that's also kind of throwing me off here is they've made the animations look, you know, more realistic.
Yep.
Like, you know, it's one of those things where it's like technically better, but
Right. I like Tony Hawk the way I like Tony Hawk.
But better's not what I'm coming here
and
for.
this is a significant, you know, undertaking. You know, they've. I feel like they've done a fine job at replicating the original Tony Hawk experience.
yeah.
And I really do enjoy it. But some of the stuff around the edges, some of the choices they made, from level choices to like some of that animation stuff.
It's silly nitpicky stuff, but it's silly nitpicky stuff that people that are gonna care about a remake of old Tony Hawk levels are gonna have.
Yeah.
Like it's the stuff that I feel like the audience is going to.
I love me some Tony Hawk. So got online, you know, you got the levels. You got Trick Attack, Big Head Elimination, so you want to be the last person to have your head pop.
Free skate,
Graffiti. So Trick Attack, Graffiti, that's pretty much,
Yeah, that's what you care about.
yeah. Let's see if, I mean, the game's not out yet as of this recording, so.
So that's why no one's playing it.
Yeah.
Well, that's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater HD.
Yep.
$15 out this Wednesday on Xbox Live Arcade. Out exclusively this Wednesday on Xbox Live Arcade.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
As part of the Summer of Arcade collection. It seems like they do get a lot of the stuff right. Not a bad selection of, or it's kind of small, but still not a bad selection of levels. There's definitely some that I can. You know, School 1, I also think is a fantastic level. I wish that
Get
had
up
been,
on that roof.
Yeah, I wish that had been included there, but they've got some classic Tony Hawk action, and I'll be curious to see sort of like what this means for the Tony Hawk brand, as it were,
Right.
at Activision. You definitely get the sense that over, let's say, the last 4 or 5 years, they've sort of ran out. They thought like, okay, maybe this skateboard peripheral thing, this will be the future of Tony Hawk. Wait, no,
Nope.
people friggin' hate this thing. But we still have this contract with Tony Hawk for a while. What do you guys want to do with it?
Yeah, so this is a good start, I think. And Robomoto did the work on this, and they did Tony Hawk Ride.
Yeah.
And Tony Hawk Shred. So, you know, they're still affiliated with it, but you know, just goes to show they don't need to make games with that awesome skateboard.
But you still have it in case they want to.
I have like 2 of them because they sent one. I think I don't know.
Surprised there's not support for it in this. Do we know if there's not support for it?
We don't know that.
Okay,
we cannot answer
I'm not
that
going to say
question.
definitively one way or the other then.
I'm going to say probably not because, oh, God.
That would not be a great experience. But this seems okay on its own.
You said, yeah, it's okay without the board. I don't know. You know, maybe it'd be nice with the board. But, you know, this seems okay.
I mean, yes, even without it, they managed to put it together. So good on you, Robomoto.
Totally.
So that's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater HD.
Uh-huh.